You know, Ankit, we can clearly see right now and assess by what the visuals suggest that the security, the authorities that we have completely miscalculated the situation on ground right now with what accounts suggest by our team of reporters that are spread out reporting on every aspect of this developing story which is coming from Hisar, that we are looking at massive casualties. Ankit, we can right now safely say that the police, the Rapid Action Force, have completely got it wrong, miscalculated the entire situation. In terms of casualties, we'd be looking at numbers that would be abysmally high, won't they?
Now, they have completely lost the plot. Of course, we could have, we can understand some sort of a brutality, some sort of a crackdown that will take place, some sort of a lathi charge will happen. But right now, it just seems that officials, especially the people, those who are in action.
आप लोग तो मीडिया की हैसियत से आपको पूरी आज़ादी है, आप रिपोर्ट करेंगे, आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है जो खूब आप निभाएंगे। मगर मैं इस मामले में कोई सवाल का जवाब देने की स्थिति में नहीं हूं, मुझे शोभा नहीं देता। ये 21 तारीख को कोर्ट के सामने कंटेम्प्ट मैटर में ही बहस होगी। धन्यवाद।
All right, what you just heard, there was a bail petition for a 2006 bail petition that was being heard right now as we speak. 21st November is when the hearing is scheduled next. That is the other play. On the other hand, three developments taking place on the story. Number one, you just heard the lawyer there, the bail petition which was being heard at the Punjab Haryana High Court. On the other hand, today, once again, let's for the benefit of our viewers, listen in to what the lawyers are saying.
की हैसियत से बात कर रहा हूं, किसी पार्टी की वकील की हैसियत से नहीं। कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ कोर्ट प्रोसीडिंग्स। और आज जो आप कह रहे हैं बड़वाला आश्रम में हुआ या चल रहा है या जो आगे होगा या नहीं होगा, इसके बारे में कृपा करके आप 21 नवंबर फ्राइडे का इंतजार कीजिए। जो भी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने रिपोर्ट करना है, जो भी एक्चुअली ग्राउंड पे होगा, जो मीडिया रिपोर्ट करेगी, जो भी सारी फाइनल सिचुएशन होगी, बाबा रामपाल अरेस्ट किए जाएंगे या नहीं और कोर्ट के सामने प्रोड्यूस किए जाएंगे या नहीं, ये 21 तारीख को कोर्ट के सामने ही बहस होगी। उसके अलावा उस मुद्दे पे मैं कुछ नहीं कहना चाहता।
सर, आज जो कुछ हुआ उसको
आज जस्टिस जयपाल और जस्टिस दर्शन सिंह की खंडपीठ ने लगभग 2.5 घंटे 10 बजे से लेके 12:30 बजे तक डिटेल्ड बहस सुनी इस मुद्दे पे कि बाबा रामपाल को जो 2 अप्रैल 2008 या फरवरी 2008 में जो हाई कोर्ट ने जमानत दी थी, उस मर्डर केस में जो सेशन जज रोहतक ट्राई कर रहे हैं, उस बेल को कैंसिल किया जाए या नहीं। कैंसिल करने का सुओ मोटो नोटिस खंडपीठ ने पिछले दिनों में दिया था। अमाइकस क्यूरी की हैसियत से मैंने लगभग 2.25 घंटे कोर्ट के सामने दलील रखी, फैक्ट्स पे और कानून में सुप्रीम कोर्ट की जजमेंट्स का हवाला देते हुए, और ग्राउंड पर जो बाबा रामपाल नेशनल सोशल सर्विस कमेटी और उनके अनुयायी या समर्थक कई महीनों से और खासकर पिछले कई दिनों से कर रहे हैं, उन्होंने जो आश्रम में किलाबंदी की है, बाबा रामपाल ने एक प्राइवेट सेना जो बनाई हुई है, जो पुलिस को और सरकार को और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को वो खुलेआम कन्फ्रंट कर रहे हैं, और उन्होंने अपने आप को ओपनली प्रोक्लेम किया है एक कॉन्सेप्ट होता है प्रोक्लेम्ड या ऑफेंडर का या इश्तहारी मुल्जिम का। मैंने खंडपीठ के सामने सबमिशन की कि बाबा रामपाल ने अपने आप को प्रोक्लेम कर दिया है कि वो कानून और जुडिशियल सिस्टम से पर सब्जेक्ट नहीं है, वो कानून और जुडिशियल सिस्टम के ऊपर हैं। मैंने कहा कि जो जमानत होती है उसका बेसिक पर्पस यही होता है कि अभियुक्त जिसको जमानत पे छोड़ दिया जाता है, जो ट्रायल चल रही है उसमें पेश हो, उसके साथ कोऑपरेट करें और अंततः जो कोर्ट फैसला सुनाए उस फैसले को सुनने के लिए, मानने के लिए पेश हों। मैंने कहा कि पिछले दिनों की घटनाओं से साफ जाहिर है और ये घटनाएं सारे देश के सामने हैं। सिर्फ प्रिंट मीडिया ने रिपोर्ट ही नहीं की, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया ने भी रिपोर्ट की है। हर आदमी देख सकता है कि बाबा रामपाल और उनके अनुयायी और समर्थकों ने खुले तौर पर सरकार को और जुडिशियल सिस्टम को चुनौती दी है और उनकी ट्रायल का आगे बढ़ना या खत्म होना इसका कोई प्रश्न ही नहीं उठता। मैंने ये भी कहा कि जब तक बाबा रामपाल की जमानत कैंसल नहीं होगी, और वो इमीडिएटली कैंसल होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर हाई कोर्ट उनकी जमानत कैंसल नहीं करता, जो हजारों क्रिमिनल केस बेल, रेगुलर बेल और एंटीसिपेटरी बेल के पंजाब और हरियाणा हाई कोर्ट में चलते हैं, रोज चलते हैं, हर हफ्ते हर महीने चलते हैं, हर वकील, हर सायल, हर अभियुक्त कहेगा कि हाई कोर्ट जो हम पे अथॉरिटी असर्ट कर रही है वो इसलिए कर रही है कि हम।
All right, three big developments taking place as we speak. You just heard Anupam Gupta, the amicus curiae, we're talking about the bail petition, 2006 bail petition that was up for hearing. That is one development. Development number two is at just about 20 minutes from now. Supporters of Rampal would be protesting outside the Supreme Court. But the big story as we speak right now emanating out of Hisar, you can see on your television screens, the eyeball-to-eyeball confrontation ends between the supporters and the police, where Rampal is concerned. Massive chaos, pandemonium ensuing right now at the Satlok ashram in Hisar. The casualties, the collateral damage in this melee is going to be huge. From here on, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague Gaurav Sawant.
Sant Rampal supporters and police clash in Hisar. Several supporters injured, but this is a man who refuses to submit to the supremacy of the judiciary of this country. The fortification at the Satlok ashram, the clash with the security forces, the clash with the police, clearly challenging the majesty of the judiciary of this country. And as experts, they say this cannot be permitted in a democracy. The police finally being forced to resort to use of force. And headlines today is Ankit Tyagi, who's reporting from Ground Zero, joins me with the latest. Ankit, take our viewers through the latest on Ground Zero.
Well, Gaurav, the police crackdown began about 45 minutes back. We were expecting this crackdown to take place because the police was getting ready since yesterday. Massive deployment took place in the morning, and once, about 45 minutes back, the police decided that enough is enough. They are going to move in. There were women and children in the front. So initially, there was a lot of tear gas shells that were lobbed in the front, and also water cannons were used so that women and children. After about, and then that was a time when there was a massive, stone pelting that took place from the side. From the ashram's side, and then after about half an hour, the police brutal crackdown started. There was lathi charge. Police were able to clear the front. The women and children from the front were taken off. Many supporters we saw were taken on the stretcher. Two policemen also sustained injury, and then the media that was reporting on this was also attacked by the police. Initially, it seemed that it was everything was under control, but right now, the policemen on the ground almost taking out their frustration brutally. beating up the people, those who are coming out. Many of them, remember, we got you a live testimony of one of the supporter who said that they were forcibly being prevented to come outside the ashram. So no distinction was made, and then young children and women were also beaten up brutally. As of now, there are big earth-moving cranes that have been deployed. They are breaking the wall from one side and lobbing tear gas shells in the hole that they have made, because there are many people inside. Policemen also confirming to us that there are shots being fired from inside. In fact, also saying that crude bombs, the petrol bombs are being hurled from the supporters of ashram. There are 15 to 20,000 supporters of Rampal, those who are inside. Every inch of this ashram is covered with people. But the problem is that there is a small number of 2,000 to 3,000 of these core supporters of Rampal.
Okay.
Those who are armed, those who are the ones, those who are throwing stones, and others are just being used as human shields. They are the ones, as of now, those who are bearing the brunt of the police action.
As you and I speak, Ankit, is the police crackdown still on? Are they breaking down that wall? Some places it's supposed to be 30 feet, in other places it's supposed to be a 50 feet high wall. Are the cops and those cranes and earth movers breaking down those walls?
As we speak, there are about 8 to 10 cranes, those who are at work from at least 3 to 4 places right in front, Gaurav, where we are standing. About 100 meters from there is the front where the police is trying to break right now, and that's where the most violent supporters of Rampal are, the commando force. As soon as the cranes are moving in, they are throwing stones, they are hurling stones at the policemen. They are armed with lathis, and also what the police sources are saying that they have crude bombs, petrol bombs that they are hurling at the police. So in the front is the main battle right now. The commandos the visuals of whom we showed you yesterday, they are the ones, in fact, those who are right in front and taking charge against the police.
Okay, and this is a man who claims to be a sant. This is a man who claims to be a Baba, and his supporters using violence, using petrol bombs and using sticks, stones, pelting at the cops, using women and children as human shields, as Ankit Tyagi is reporting from ground zero. Now, the police initially lobbed tear gas shells. The police were moving in according to a plan, and they're executing it to perfection. Is that what is happening on ground zero?
Well, absolutely. In fact, even now, I can see tear gas shells being lobbed inside. The battle right now is in front of the ashram, where massive amount of stones are being hurled back from the supporters of Rampal. We yet do not know what sort of casualties have taken place, but I saw many people being taken on stretcher. Policemen were also injured. A few policemen were bleeding from their head when they were taken out in the ambulances. But as of now, what seems to be a final push. In fact, we have also been told by our sources that Rampal is holed up in one side of the ashram, most probably in the ground floor. Gaurav, if I can tell you what is, they have in fact broken the wall of the front. The policemen are now trying to move in. It's an eyeball to eyeball confrontation that is taking place. Stones being hurled from both sides. This is the first time the police, since the time this confrontation began, would be able to go inside, will be able to step inside the ashram. They have, I can also see some flames. It seems that the supporters are now trying to burn up the furniture to stop the police from coming inside. They are in fact throwing sticks, burnt sticks and petrol bombs from inside to deter the policemen. On the other side, it's about a 30 to 40 feet high wall that the police is trying to break, and as they are trying to break it, people are throwing stones and other things from inside cranes that are working. So a brutal crackdown nonetheless, but now the final battle is taking place. Police they are now able to move slightly in. The front wall has been broken, but that is being manned by the completely core team of Rampal, and they are the ones, those who are making things difficult, putting on a final, digging in their heels and putting on the final, almost a trench sort of a thing situation has taken place. The police still moving very cautiously.
Okay, police moving in cautiously. There's been a massive offensive against this so-called Sant Rampal. His supporters have clashed with the police. They're challenging the supremacy of the law of the land. There is a non-bailable warrant against him. Fresh non-bailable warrants issued against this Baba, and he refuses to submit to the supremacy of law. There is a case against him. Murder, attempt to murder. 2 different times, 2006 and then 2011. And despite that, there is no action. When he refuses to submit to the supremacy of the law of the land. And now when the police finally move in to execute court orders, his supporters, his armed commandos, his private army clash with the police using women and children as a human shield. They've hit reporters, and we are getting you live eyewitness accounts also. And Headlines Today reporters are on ground zero reporting the latest that is happening. Why is it that the police failed to get Baba's supporters, this so-called Baba supporters, to leave that place? They've been making announcements on loudspeakers constantly. Are these supporters being kept there against their will, Ankit?
Well, we know one thing, that certainly some people were they were forced to stay here. That is what even the live testimony that we got in the morning also confirmed. But the whole point is that the police, since last many days, they were trying to persuade these people to come out. But it seems that there was some sort of the core team of Rampal that was overconfident. They were armed. They thought they would be able to take on the police, and that is why the situation has come to this point. But also, Gaurav, as you have been rightly pointing out, no signs, or in fact, none of his supporters or the Baba himself, complete disregard for the life of the people who almost worship him, those who are ready to lay down their lives for him, complete disregard for their lives, but also a question that the Qatar government and the administration there will also have to answer. They have let the situation brew in the last so many days. In fact, local BJP leaders were going in, talking, trying to persuade Rampal. So it seems that he also enjoyed some sort of a political patronage, and that is what gave him this confidence that he will be able to take on the forces. Now, the police had absolutely no option but to use the hard measures. And in this, there has been a lot of collateral. Many people, many women and children, those who have been injured. We saw almost hundreds of people being, put on the stretchers, policemen dragging them out. So, of course, the situation here has now gone out of control.
The situation out of control, reports Headlines Today, is Ankit Tyagi, and that is something that the political leadership of the state will need to answer. Were they procrastinating initially? Were they refusing to take action initially, and then suddenly, because this man challenges the supremacy of court? The question remains, why is it that the police are targeting journalists who are reporting an incident that is taking place? Here is that 50 feet high wall of the Satlok ashram. This is where that so-called Baba Rampal is hiding. And that smoke that is coming out of that building, let me once again get back to Headlines Today's Ankit Tyagi. Ankit, what we are being told is apparently furniture is being set on fire. Can you explain that smoke coming out of the ashram?
Type of smoke that you can see. First, the police is firing the tear gases. So, of course, the shells are exploding, and there is a lot of smoke of that. But yes, as I've been reporting continuously, on the front of the ashram, the supporters are burning the furniture and other things so that they can stop the police from moving in. In fact, they are trying to create a wall of fire so that the police cannot come in. As of now, also, the ambulances, one after another, are just coming out of the ashram. Many people are injured, and a continuous stone pelting between the policemen in front and also the people.
Okay, and we see pictures of journalists injured, headlines today reporters, Aaj Tak reporters, the Aaj Tak camera person Shakil Ahmed, we see his pictures there, injured. Explain this attack on journalists. Why are the police attacking journalists?
Gaurav, this is something that the administration will have to answer, if not today, then tomorrow. A brutal crackdown, not only on the supporters, but the journalists who are reporting. Our camera person, Shakil Ahmed, was with me. We were shooting. Our camera has been damaged. We have not been able to send the footage that we had shot, and all that we were doing was on one side, on a safe distance, trying to just report on the police action. In the last few days, we have been cooperating with the police, but it just seemed that they do not want this brutal side of their crackdown to come out. No prizes were guessing why they wanted to stop this coverage. We have been reporting on how the policemen have been injured, but despite that, Nipin Jain, my colleague from Aaj Tak, was brutally beaten up. His phone was broken. One of his phone was snatched. The mic and the camera broken. Not only TV Today networks, but also many other journalists have been tactically, in fact, they have been singled out and injured in this police crackdown.
In these pictures, Ankit, now we see this so-called Baba Rampal supporters on the roof of that building and that high wall, and we also see JCBs, earth movers moving in. So what is the police strategy? Who is coordinating it? Is there a proper command and control structure in place as far as the police are concerned?
Well, as of now, what is happening, Gaurav, is that the police has broken the wall in front with the use of these. They have completely broken the wall on one side. They are now trying to attack from the front. In fact, now there is a full stone hurling match that is going on between the police and the commando army, the so-called commando army. Gaurav, what I'll tell you is this urgency that you see, these JPC machines, the way they are coming out is because diesel and petrol has been thrown on them, and there was worry by the police that these JPG machines would be put on fire. That is why very quickly these machines have been brought out. In fact, 5 machines were pressed into action. Diesel and petrol was thrown on these machines, and the supporters of Rampal tried to put them on fire. That is why you saw that high-speed JPG machine just coming out, because the police feared they would try and burn these machines.
Okay, so this is a Baba who's actually well prepared for this confrontation, and he seems to be having his own private army. He paraded that private army. Clearly goes on to indicate that this man was prepared for a police offensive. He's prepared his defenses well. Are the police as well prepared for their offensive to ensure that he's arrested before sundown?
Gaurav, one thing bang on. This man who calls himself a Baba has a private army, all of them motivated, all of them absolutely ready for confrontation. So there is absolutely no doubt that they are criminal elements, those who are in fact the so-called disciples of Baba. But we cannot also discount the fact that many of his supporters, many of them were forced to save women and children. That segregation should have been done before the police took this action. But yes, situation extremely dangerous on the ground right now. After the initial melee, those who are left inside are motivated armed cadre of the so-called godman. And what just happened? They tried to hurl petrol bombs on these JPG machines. In fact, few diesel on them, tried to set them on fire. So their action there is very coordinated. It seems that they had prepared for what they were doing in the last 2-3 days. There have been continuous, in fact, announcements being made by the Baba's team that all of you know what you have to do when the police comes in, and now we know what they meant by it. The police officers also telling us that some shots were also fired from inside, and that is what the whole worry is. If they move in too quickly, there can be casualties on the side of the police also.
Okay. Now, how prepared is the police to deal with this? Did police intelligence give them an alert about the kind of offensive that this so-called private army of this so-called Baba, the private army can launch an offensive? Were the police prepared for it, or were they caught unawares?
Well, it seems that they were prepared, because the sheer number of policemen and along with the kind of machinery they came in, they were prepared. But despite their best preparations, there was still uncertainty about the number of people, those who were inside. And as of now, Gaurav, I can clearly see a huge wall of fire that has been created by Baba supporters, still defiant, still taking on the police taking on the other side of the wall that has been broken, and inside supporters of Rampal are clearly throwing stones, hurling stones as much as they can.
And these supporters of this Baba Rampal, are they local villagers, or have people assembled from a lot of places? Because it seems that this Baba is quite popular in this entire area and has several ashrams in this belt in Haryana.
But there is one very interesting thing about this so-called godman. The local villagers, in fact, are against these ashrams, and there have been clashes. But the clashes that we were talking about, 2011, 2013 also, and in the murder case that he is accused in 2006, all of them were the clashes between the Baba's supporters and the local villagers. In fact, the Baba is known to instigate his supporters to attack Arya Samajis and other villagers.
Yes.
Villagers say that anti-social elements take refuge in these ashrams after committing crime. There is now some sort of announcements being made by the police. In fact, this is not the announcement that is coming by the police. Now the announcements, Baba supporters using loudspeakers announcing, saying that they are ready to die. They are saying that they are also provoking the police to open fire at them. Still stones being heard from inside, but the situation still remains tense, volatile on the ground as of now, Gaurav.
This man and his supporters are clearly challenging the supremacy of the law of the land, the majesty of courts of India, and this man who's wanted for murder, attempt to murder, is actually now refusing to submit to the judiciary of this land.
What a massive confrontation right now. In fact, the supporters of Rampal, they have come out armed to take on the police. All of them, about 2,000 to 3,000 supporters of Rampal with sticks have come out to take on the police. Now, an eyeball to eyeball confrontation. In fact, as of now, as we speak, the police is moving back. They have been caught unaware. Almost 3,000 to 4,000 policemen, the supporters of Rampal came out charging at the police with bricks, with stones and other sharp weapons. The police is as of now falling back. So we are trying to run back to a safe distance. Police now trying to gain some ground. Whatever ground they had gained, they have now lost, especially in front of the ashram. 3,000 to 4,000 of the black commandos of Rampal, they just came out charging, and the policemen, those who were outside, they in fact had to move back. So the entire contingent from the front has moved back. In fact, now an open challenge that has been thrown to the police.
Oh, that's a very interesting development. The so-called Baba Rampal supporters actually charge at the police. They've come charging out, and you are saying that their numbers are in hundreds. They're charging out at the police, and the police are actually retreating. Why is it that the cops are not firing tear gas shells at this stage? Are the police ill-prepared for this, Ankit?
Well, Gaurav, the tear gas shells are being fired, but it seems that the police were not expecting all these supporters to in fact charge at them. And I'm not talking about 100, 200, about 1,000 or more, 2,000 to 3,000 people armed with sticks suddenly charging at the cops, those who are standing in front. The problem now is that the police, they do not want to use live ammunition, so that because that will cause massive amount of casualties here. But the policemen, those who are in front, all of them armed with sticks, they in fact had to move back a few meters to take ground. It was a sudden charge by these policemen.